Go for a new test this weekend. What are your feelings towards it?
Yeah, look, it'd be a tough test. It always is going to Maidenhead and the way they play. Massive respect for the job that Dev always does. They're always one of the teams at the start of the season where people write them off every single season. They have a real good season and never in any danger. So we know it'd be a tough test against them, respectful of the threats they have on the pitch, but focusing on what we can do better as well.
We played against arguably three of the best footballing sides in the division. So what are your differences? What differences are you expecting on Saturday?
It's just the nature of the league, and it is obviously in every division, but the National League, you've got different types of opponents. Yeah, look, Gateshead will pose different threats to what Maidenhead do, but in their own ways, they've got massive strengths in which team plays. So yeah, that's part of this league, being adaptable enough to be able to compete against the teams that play in different ways, and finding ways to be better than it. You know, the last couple of games we've had against Southend and Gateshead, we've not managed to impact ourselves enough on them to get the better of them and end up losing the football matches. And now, yes, it will be a different type of test against Maidenhead, but no easier a test. They are very physical, very direct in what they do. Got players that are really competitive all over the pitch, strong, and obviously most seasons they're very strong at home as well. So we know it'll be a tough game. We're not no under illusions of that, but we have really just sort of in the last 24 hours going into today what we've done, just focused on ourselves really and talk about what we can do better and how we can be better as a group rather than every opponent we're coming up against talking about them.
In terms of our squad, how are we looking?
Yeah, look, we obviously have got injuries. There's no getting away from that, and yeah, we sort of had a meeting today to try and find out the reasoning for that. There's always different factors that lead into things happening. A couple of injuries that have come from the games, come from training in games. Josh Hare's was just a tackle in training, a block of a shot in training, which happens every single day. You can't do nothing about. And Connor going off on Tuesday, I felt it at the time. I didn't think it was a good tackle. I know the boy won the ball, but he followed through with his other leg and absolutely caught Connor. That was the one in the game that I sort of had a little bit of a chat to the fourth official about, and I didn't even know at that point that Connor was going to have to come off because of it, but I didn't think it was a good tackle. I think it was unneeded. And then the other ones are muscular things, so we're looking into that, you know. A few of them have been hamstrings, so we're going, is the loading been too much or too little? Is it the games? That's our jobs then as a staff to come together and, you know, try and find an answer for it so that we don't have a recurrence over the course of the season. It might just be because of the start of the season with the load of pre-season going into games, different type of pitches you maybe play on. We don't know. I'm being completely honest about that. But we're not going, we don't know, and we're not going to find out. That's what we're looking into right now and trying to minimise because we don't miss across the course of the season.
We spoke about focusing on ourselves after the Gateshead game. So what bits do you think we have to get nailed on and right on Saturday afternoon?
Well, the Gateshead game, and I always we'll talk about formations or what we do. Like if we played it over again because of the way they played, whatever formation we'd start a game, we would start the same way as we did the other day for 25, 30 minutes in terms of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. It was working. They changed within game and put some boys on our highest line. And then we have a decision at that point to all drop together as a group and let the goalie bring the ball up as far as he wants to bring it, which goes against every principle that I have, which I really don't want to do. Or you stay aggressive and all have to move up together. What we got caught out in the other day that led to the first goal was some of the boys still going higher up and a few of them being a little bit worried about how many I was putting on our highest line and giving them an opportunity to get an overload in an area. From that we had to deal with it better. And then we started the second half really well, and then in the second goal, there's not making any excuse for it, but if Eastie don't pull his hamstring, then he heads that ball back down the pitch like about 20 yards. It happened at that moment, he did it, also went down and couldn't track back into the guy that scored, so it was a massive blow for him and us because it meant a second goal, but also him going off the pitch as well. But you know, we just spoke about what we want to be and how we want to do things. You know, it wasn't obviously ideal. And of course, it's not to lose your first two home games of the season, but we've got about 120 odd 30 points still to play for. It's not getting carried away because things haven't gone as well as we want them to, and not getting too high if we'd have won all three games going and we're the best team in the world, and not getting too low because of the fact that we've drawn a game and lost two, because over the course of the season every single team in this league is going to have them moments. It's how you group together, how you come out of them moments, how you stick to what you want to be and how you want to be as people every day, to try and get the swing it round. Because if you feel sorry for yourself or feel sorry for ourselves having injuries or whatever, it's going to do no good for anyone. We've got to really stick together, knuckle down and find a way to win a football game. It'll be a positive day on Saturday. It's the only thing that we all can do, and that's been the message from the boys today, you know. Talk about what went wrong, what we don't want to see again, and try and help them with it, but also go, look, come on, don't get too down on yourselves, you know, you've got a game to win on Saturday.
Finally, Ben, we're hoping to bring a decent following with us on Saturday. How big is it for everyone that is there on the weekend and online as well, that we all just stick together?
Well, look, it's the biggest thing, because there's no. Listen, now I truly believe that every football fan across the world, and certainly every Dagenham fan, wants to be positive. They want to be positive about their team. They want to be positive about the football club. It's when we have games where they don't see the things that they want to see. Of course, they're going to say negative things about it, and you know, if things happen at the club, on the pitch or off the pitch, that they perceive as they don't like, they're going to have an opinion on it. And you know, I've got to be thick-skinned enough to appreciate that, to understand it. And did I think coming back at the back end of the last season it was going to be easy trying to do what we were doing? No, because I've talked about it pretty openly and honestly, saying how much of a bit of a disconnect there was between the fans and the players for whatever reason it will be. And I wanted a positive start to try and bring that back together. And it hasn't come so far, but we're going to try and give up on it, or we're going to try and show what we're trying to do is for all the right intentions of the football club. There's no doubt about it. I think everyone knows it. We're in a different place to where the club's been in the last 3 or 4 years. It's clear to see that, but we still want to do very well. We still want to perform and win every game of football, because that's our jobs. That's what we want to do. We want to be successful. We want to do well for the football club. We want to give our fans something to be happy about and to be positive about rather than negative about. But I also appreciate that at times it's going to be that way. I look back all them years ago to me coming in here as a player, and we was losing Craig McKell-Smith and Shane Blackett, and me and John Baldwin had a massive task to show that we could be the boys to replace them ones. And I remember it as clear as anything, doubting it, me coming from Barnet this, that and the other. I feel like by the time I left the football club, probably the feeling towards me was a little bit different. So that's the nature of it. As a group, we've got to know that we've got off to a slow start. People are not going to be happy with that, but they've got to stick together and stick with us, because if the divides happen within the group or we let that go out, then we won't be successful. And if we don't stick together as a club, good and bad times, then what are we doing it for? That's why they're our supporters, and I know they want to be positive, I do, and we've got to give them more positives to be about as well. We've got to perform better for them, we've got to get more points, we've got to win games, and then everyone's happy, everyone's smiling. That's the reason we all do it. That's why the players want to do well. That's why I will come back to be the manager, because I want to bring that to the fans. But nothing's changed for me in a week's game of football. You know, Altrincham to going to Southend and then going on to the game against Gateshead. Nothing has changed going into this game against Maidenhead. We want to perform, we want to do well, and we want to give the fans a team to come away from that ground on Saturday going, no, that was good to see from them today. That's all we're trying to do, and we'll continue to do that every single day going into every game we play.